So the basis of this morning's discussion is that over the years, some of the sentences for child abusers have been very light, according to public perception, and may not reflect the weight of the crimes committed. And so there's a call for the revision of the laws pertaining to this. And joining us to openly have that discussion and learn more this morning is Child Watch legal attorneys Desiree Whittle and Priscilla Duhaney. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Welcome
Good
to Smile
morning.
Jamaica. It's morning time.
Good morning, Delia.
Where to start?
Where to start? Where to start? Because I want to say in the broader context of laws and sentencing in Jamaica, they're coming from before Wappy met Philip, much less to kill him. and so I think that's where everything starts, you know. Desiree, within the context of, have we not shifted and changed according to the dynamics of what exists now? Is that the major problem?
Well, our laws will need to develop according to what is going on now. We find that the crime against children seem to be increasing. And I mean, the children are the most vulnerable of society. And I think what our laws need more teeth to deal with that, I would believe. You know, when a judge is going to sentence someone for a crime, a child molester, there are several factors that the judge will take into account. And these include several aggravating factors. I would want to think that, well, the age of the victim is definitely one of the aggravating factors. And when it's a child, I would want to think that it should be such an aggravating factor that there should be no way that they should even think of lessening the sentences.
Is that actually true? I mean, it's public perception, but are the folks who are committing these crimes getting sentences that are too light, Priscilla? Is that true?
Well, based on our legislation currently, it is usually between 15 to 25 years under the Sexual Offences Act if it is that an offender is found guilty of, you know, causing a sexual offence. And so to think about it, usually persons get, you know, that period and the parole is involved. It doesn't do justice, because when we look at even the most recent case of Davian Bryan, who committed all of these assaults, rape, forcible abduction towards children, you see where not even a sentence can bring back that peace in that home or in that child. We're looking at damaging a future. It doesn't do justice to look at 15 years, even 25 years.
And they get out before.
And get out, you know, for good behavior or different reasons.
Now we're talking about child abuse, but in the case of like murder, what does that sentence typically look like?
Well, we're looking at usually 15 years is a minimum, at least, that they can, the legislation puts in place.
The maximum is like life?
25 to life in some cases, and so on, but it starts there.
Yeah. Desiree, one of the things I think people often do is compare, and they will say, so what are the sentences in comparison to other countries around the world? Can we say, listen, when we look at what other people are doing, ours is way too light? Is that one argument that we can present, or are we on par with what everybody else has?
Well, in terms of what is on the books, I looked at the legislation in the UK. It's very similar.
Okay.
Because our legislation is really patterned of that.
The UK one.
Right. So it's a life sentence. The maximum is life sentence for grievous sexual assault, for rape, as for murder. But the normal range is between 15 to 25 years, and with 15 years minimum. So it compares on the books.
Yeah.
But I guess where I would have a problem is how it works out in practice, when are we going to say this is so bad that the life sentence should be given? I know that in that same example that Priscilla referred to, in one newspaper article, the Ministry of Justice himself was reported to have said that he thought he should have been given the life sentence,
right,
which is the maximum. And I know I'm not criticizing the judge. I'm sure
they follow guidelines.
Right.
They also
there are the sentencing guidelines. They have various factors that they take into account, and I have not yet seen the judgment to know what the judge was thinking. But I'm just thinking that generally we need to send a very strong message to child molesters, because we need them to know that the full brunt of the law is going to come after them when they trouble and mess with the most vulnerable of society.
I remember when we were talking about it, the same case with the minister, and I think Harris was saying, you know, this is something that needs legislation. So yes, we can call for strict, but can we do something about it and get the laws changed, which in itself now it's a process that's going to take 1,353 years.
Yeah.
So the alacrity with which we move, the speed at which we move to benefit our children is another bugbear in the system.
Definitely.
No?
Definitely,
So,
definitely.
So then what do we do in this case to try and effect the kind of change that you ladies are calling for?
Well, you know, we can do so much and no more. However, what we can, it's already on the books. It's just for our judges to take into account what is being presented, look at the circumstances, our current situation. While we may look at UK, Canada, we have to look at the jurisdiction or the country that we're living in and the type of crime, what is happening. You know, too much crime is happening in Jamaica, and particularly among our children, and we need to basically be stronger in our voices. You know, we need support from parents, from other stakeholders to come on board and push for justice to be served where children are, you know, the victims.
Absolutely. Desiree, I don't know if you'd have this kind of information, because I was curious as to what is the percentage of, I would say, persons who've been sentenced, been released, and have committed that crime again.
Rate of recidivism.
Yeah, and would have had to go back in. Do you have that kind of information?
I don't have that with respect to child molesters per se, but I do know that the rate of recidivism is high generally.
So rehabilitation isn't happening. One of the things, sorry, Simone, Simone said, what are the other things that we can do? Priscilla, one of the things we've been advocating for, well, I have certainly, is sexual offenders registry that is accessible to the public. So at the very least, if we are not going to make sure the sentences keep people where they should be for a longer time, shouldn't the public have better knowledge of who we have amongst us, and also restrictions as far as they access children? Can that be something that we can, in the immediate time, lobby for?
Well, definitely, but there is a sexual offenders registry. Possibly it's not maybe made aware enough.
I don't think we can access it as the public.
Well, yes, it is. It should be public information, because at this point in time, you should be someone that can go and see what is happening.
Where would we find out?
Usually, I think it's at the OCA.
Okay.
Yes, so you can actually access the information, because once a sexual offender is convicted and is special release, then it's public record and their name should be stated there.
So me want to ask about the death penalty, but I don't know if I want to go there.
Well,
no, but it's a call. I see one noted attorney making a call for it in light of the crime last week.
Well, Simone and Delio, one thing I would say, I would want to point out that in that Davian Bryan matter, that if you added up all the sentences he got, all the counts, he really got over 150 years when you check them up. However, is this thing now of this sentence is running concurrently. And that is something else to look into, because that also is in the sentencing guidelines.
Yes, yes.
That so for example, if a similar offense is committed in a short period of time against the same victim, then the sentences would run concurrently.
Yeah.
But then, as I said, I haven't seen the judgment to know what this judge was thinking.
And what would have advised the judgment? We have to go, ladies. Yes. I mean, this is very important. Bless you for continuing this advocacy, and I hope that in short time we will actually see more happening to protect our children. Child Watch legal attorneys Desiree Whittle and Priscilla Duhaney.
Coming up, we're talking more about the gang reduction and prevention program that's in Clarendon. We've got that on the other side. So